Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to change flavors a little bit and I'm going to talk more about a general topic, and that is the engine or after treatment specific warning lights on the dash. And to be even more specific, we're going to talk about just the check engine light and the OBD light. And OBD is an acronym for onboard diagnostics. Okay, so I've got a couple slides I'm going to bring up, and what prompted this was a phone call from a driver. And actually in our fleet we've had trucks that have these lights for 12 to 14 years. Now every model change, the lights look different. They're in different places on the dash. The only way to really know in your truck what light is what, if they look very similar, is to pull out the manual that came with the truck and go to the page that explains all those icons and see what they are. And actually, if you're driving a truck, you need to know what every light on that dash means. Because if you understand that, when the light comes on, you know what to do. And that's very important. Okay, so let's take a look, and I'll talk about this as we go along. So these are some screenshots of icons on just Packard dashes. Okay, Peterbilt or Kenworth. The orange bar, vertical bar towards the right, is the dividing line between the lights. So all the lights to the left of the orange bar that have a blue arrow pointing to them or a blue circle around them mean the same thing. They are the engine's check engine light, or the ECM's check engine light. When that light comes on, there is an active fault. To the right of the orange bar is the onboard diagnostics light. That light will always, unless the letters say OBD, it will always be the outline of an engine. And so you can see two here, and on our brand new trucks, it's an outline of an engine, but it doesn't quite look like this. Now, if you go back to the left, you'll see in the center it says check, and there's a picture of that like the OBD light, but it's got a lightning bolt in it. That's a check engine light. Then if you go over to the far left, that long blue arrow pointing down in the center of the tack, you see what looks like the OBD light with a wrench in it. That's a check engine light. But on the same dash up at the top right where the yellow circle is, there's the outline of the engine with nothing in it, nothing around it, no words by it. That is the OBD light. That's why I stressed, when you get in a truck you're not familiar with and you turn the key on and it lights up like a Christmas tree and you're the driver, if you have to deal with me, you need to know what all those lights mean when they come on. Because if you don't, how can you drive a truck that's heavily loaded, that could have hazmat material? You could be in traffic. If one of those lights comes on, you need to understand what it is and what you need to do. Okay, I don't usually lecture, but I felt the need to in this situation. So now, let's move on with our discussion. When the check engine light comes on, and a check engine light is either going to be the word check, an engine with a lightning bolt down through it. You saw some of the examples. Get your operator's book and look at it. If you're not sure, turn your dash on, take a picture of it, go on Google and Google truck dash warning lights and start looking for the pictures to figure out what it is. If you can't, borrow a book from a buddy and copy the page or whatever. As a driver, it is your responsibility to know what all those lights on that dash mean, or you cannot make an informed decision when you're going 70 miles down the road loaded and one of those lights comes on. How are you going to know what you got to do? Maybe you can ignore the light and keep driving for a little while. Maybe you can't. So you need to know the lights. Okay, I'll get off of that stool now. So the check engine light can come on for a few thousand reasons. You can also log faults that do not drive a check engine light. For example, this last week I saw a fault that had a couple hundred counts, but it said none where it said lamp. So I knew that didn't drive the operator's light. And what the fault was it said that the DEF pump was not able to reclaim all the DEF fluid at key off, and there was some left in the lines basically. And there's a purge counter in the advanced DCM information that you can look at, and it'll say successful purges, failed purges. And failed purges needs to always be zeros or something's wrong. Now, in the case that I just told you about, the problem was the driver would get out of his truck at home and he would reach in and he would flip the battery switch off, shut the door, lock it, and go in the house. And he did that so fast, it never had a chance to finish. So he had 1,000 unsuccessful DEF recovery log counts in the advanced DCM information. So that drove the OBD light on his truck. Why? Because if the DEF system freezes in the winter because it's got fluid in it, it can damage something. So they turn that light on to make sure that stops. And so this would happen every Friday because during the week he didn't shut his batteries off. He left them on, but over the weekend he always shut them off. So that was that scenario. Okay, so now you know what the check engine light is. Let's move to the OBD light. The OBD light has a list of faults that it looks at. It looks at nothing else. If any of the faults are on that list, and those faults have to affect after treatment, exhaust, out the stack, if anything that affects that goes active, it's going to turn the OBD lamp on. And the OBD lamps, onboard diagnostic lamps, only job is to remember when the fault came on and to make sure it doesn't come on again in the next 12 hours or 3 trips. It can be a little over 8 hours. Sometimes it's between 4 and 8. And once that problem's corrected, if you don't clear the faults, that OBD light will be on and you'll be driving. And then all of a sudden, the guy looks down and goes, oh, that outline of the engine's gone. And if the fault let's say the fault comes on for 2.5 hours, the check engine light and the OBD light comes on, and then the check engine light goes out for 4 hours. And then it comes on for a half an hour, that's 3 hours, and then it goes out for 2 hours, and then the next day it comes on for 2 hours. The OBD light's been on the whole time, and it's counting the time. And as soon as he gets to his 4 hours, he's in a full D rate. And the OBD light is the one that remembered to put him in the D rate. So why do they do this? Because they know if the driver has the light coming on and off all day, and especially if it's his truck, and I'm talking about a check engine light, it's coming on and off all day, few seconds here, couple hours, few seconds, and he sees no effect at all, no leaks, the fluids are good, it's running good. Is he going to pay $1,000 to go in and have somebody scan it and tell him it's a glitch, or there's a wire rubbing that doesn't matter, or the coolant was a little low? Because most drivers don't know, okay? He's not. He's going to drive that truck because when it's in the shop, he's losing money. When it's rolling down the road, he's making money. So I wanted you all to understand what the OBD light is. Remember, it's a watchdog. Now, if he gets that fault and he's able to drive 12 continuous hours, because 3 4-hour trips are what it takes to clear that OBD light, it'll clear itself out all by itself as long as the fault that drove it doesn't come back on. So there's a little more to the strip cycling on OBD, but I'm not going to get into it here. But everything I told you is accurate. And now drivers, if just the engine outline comes on and you know that the check engine light is actually a wrench or something else, if just that OBD light comes on and the wrench is off, you can drive that truck until you get to a place where you can get it checked. But if that wrench light comes on and you've been stacking time up, when you get to your derate schedule, the OBD light's going to derate it. Thanks for joining me on Engine Shop Joe. I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. Have a good day.